Good afternoon, all. I come to you on a sad occasion this afternoon. Early this morning, C.E. Murray lost one of its own. One of its dedicated, if not the most dedicated worker at the school. Her name is Miss Mary Mack. And ever since my career started at C.E. Murray High School, which was 1984, I went to C.E. Murray in 1984, and I was there for approximately 32 years. I'm thinking 32 years before I left. And then I worked at Hemingway Middle for a year. Then I did adult ed for 3 years. And then after that, I went back to C.E. Murray. So C.E. Murray is home to me. And ever since I knew C.E. Murray, I knew Miss Mack. She is a fixture. She was a fixture at C.E. Murray. She would never go home. Miss Mack would never go home. She would always be at C.E. Murray, even when she did not work there, even when she did not officially work there. Even though she did not officially work there, she still worked there. Miss Mack was there every day. She was there every day as a regular employee. You see, for the past years, Ms. Mack was volunteering. But she was volunteering. When she was volunteering, it was like she was a regular worker. She was there. She was there on time. She left. Sometimes we would leave her there, but it was like she was on the clock. She was in every meeting, everything, just like a regular employee. And Miss Mack would not go home. She said that she did not want to go home. She felt better at work. She felt better when she was working. So she was always there. And she was not there twiddling her thumbs. She was not there twiddling her thumbs. Miss Mack, oh my God. I mean, I just can't think of C.E. Murray without Miss Mack. I can't. Because Miss Mack did so many things. She wore so many hats at C.E. Murray. To name a few. She was over the parenting committee. As a matter of fact, she had something planning, well, I know that she was in the process of planning something for parents this month. She was also anything having to do with food. Anything having to do with food, serving food for faculty staff, students, whenever students did something that was praiseworthy and they were rewarded, sometimes with nachos and cheese and hot dogs, and you know who did all that? Drinks. Miss Mack. Miss Mack did all of that. And remember now, she's a volunteer. She was a volunteer. And sometimes Miss Mack went in her pockets, expecting no pay in return, but just out of the goodness of her heart. Just out of the goodness of her heart. Miss Mack was also the runner. She was also the runner. If we, for an example, let's say that if a class had to be held, maybe a teacher had to leave the classroom for a minute or so, Miss Mack was there. She would come and she would hold your class until you return. She also substituted, whenever a teacher was out and we needed a substitute, she would also substitute. Miss Mack would always make sure that if any faculty member or any student had a close relative to die, that person would receive a card with money that she had gone around and collected from everybody. Miss Mack was that person. I remember that she was over the Sunshine Committee, and this was a while back when I first worked at C.E. Murray. She was over the Sunshine Committee, and the Sunshine Committee was in charge of collecting money for faculty members who had death in the family, or maybe they had a child, or maybe they were sick. But Ms. Mack was in charge of that. So almost every day, you would see Ms. Mack would come to your door and ask for a donation, because, there's always something going on. Always something going on. And as I said before, if students had a burnout, students had, lost a close family member, Miss Mack collected money for them. Miss Mack probably was the first person on campus in the mornings. The first person on campus in the mornings, because she is the one who would meet the car riders whenever they come to school, and some of their parents drop them off, kind of early. So Ms. Mack was there. Ms. Mack was there to, to look over them. She was there to look over them. And I remember this past Wednesday, when I was at the game, and I wanted to leave, and all the gates were locked, and I'm looking at my truck. I'm looking at my truck, but then I had to walk almost 20 miles to get to it because all the gates were locked. And so Miss Mack came up and she said, she I think she was trying to get back to the building too, and she said, Ms. Giles, it's a long walk now. It's a long walk. She said, but I'm used to it because I come here early enough in the mornings, and I do some rounds. I do some walking, so I'm used to it. So so then Miss Buford came along, and she had Miss Mack in the truck, because by that time I had gone and I was talking to somebody else. But and Miss Buford had Miss Mack in the truck, and Miss Buford said, "Miss Giles, if you could get in the back of my truck," she said, "you can ride if you want to. You can ride to your truck." And I said, "Well, I definitely would appreciate that." Because uh, that was a long walk, and my feet are not that good anyway. So I appreciated that ride. But Miss Mack she was worried about the hot dogs, because she knew that hot dogs were supposed to be served at the game. But when she got there, she saw that the hot dogs are not being served, so she got concerned about that. And Miss Mack, Miss Mack is going to be sure that it's right. Um, so she had to get the wieners. She had to get the wieners. So she had to go back to the building to get the wieners. So that's why she went. She had to go back to the building. So, if we needed something from Sam's, Miss Mack was there. Miss Mack was there. Mrs. You know, I she is surely going to be missed. She was called Mama by some, and Grandmama by some. That's how much she was loved. And those students loved her. They loved her. Almost every morning, Miss Mack would come in the room. She would say, "I'm just checking to see whether any students brought any papers back." Because she would always collect the papers for, and I told you that she was preparing for Grandparents Week, I think. Grandparents Week. She was preparing for that, so she wanted to get the paper work from the students for that, because she had to do a count and all of that. So every morning she would come and say, "Miss Giles, I'm just checking to see whether anybody brought a paper back. See whether anybody brought a paper back." And she would never fuss. She would never fuss, because sometimes, most of the time, the students would not have papers. They're not going to bring anything back until the last minute. And on some occasions there have been grandparents who came, and students didn't bring the papers back. But Miss Mack didn't turn them down, of course. She did not turn them down. But if you wanted something to get done, Miss Mack would do it. She would do it. If you wanted it done, and you wanted it done right, Miss Mack would get it done. Very, very hard worker. Very diligent worker. And she loved C.E. Murray. She loved C.E. Murray. I would consider C.E. Murray her second home, because she loved it. And she did whatever it took to keep it running smoothly. She was never one to sit around never one to sit around. She always had to be busy. She always had to be busy. Miss Mack, I hope that you are resting now and you are not trying to leave heaven. Because Miss Mack, you know that it was hard for us to get you to sit down. But now it's time for you to rest. But you lived a wonderful life. And I think that you lived your life to the fullest. And I would say that you enjoyed your life. But you have done your part. You really have done your part. You took care of your children. You took care of your grandchildren. You took care of the children at school. You took care of the faculty and staff at school. And sometimes I would ask myself, is Miss Mack thinking about Miss Mack? I would ask myself that sometimes because you were so busy taking care of everybody else. So busy taking care of everybody else. So concerned with everybody else. But in spite of that, you were happy because, yeah, you did do some things that you enjoyed. You traveled a lot. And that's something that a lot of people do not get to do. You traveled a lot. You went on cruises a lot. You went on a lot of trips just for fun. Just for fun. And that's something that a lot of people do not get to do. But you did that. And you enjoyed your life. You enjoyed your life. And I would say that you lived your life to the fullest. I would say that you lived your life to the fullest. And not just for yourself, but for others, your children, your grandchildren, other children, other people. You always put yourself last. Very selfless person. I'm sorry, but I was just looking at this, something that flashed across my phone. But Miss Mack, you've done your work on earth. You've done your work on earth. And I know that God is pleased with you. I hope that you did not give him a time when you got to that door. I hope you did not give him a time when you got to that door and he told you to come on in. Because you've done your part. You've done your part on earth. You have. And Miss Mack, We are going to miss you dearly. We're going to miss you dearly. Now, I hope that you are not upset with me because I was supposed to bring you a package. And almost every day you would ask me for that package. But Ms. Mack, I did not get you your package. And I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry that I did not get you your package. And I used to always worry about things like that, you know? Suppose I didn't do this. Suppose I didn't do that. You know? I didn't do it. I didn't get you your package. When I was thinking about your package the other day, when we were riding together, when I was thinking about it, but I didn't do it. But maybe there's a way that I can make up for it. But I am so sorry. Guess it's an example of not getting you your flowers while you are alive. And that's not a very good feeling. It's not a very good feeling. Maybe that there is something that I can do in order to make it up. But Miss Mack, it's time for you to rest now. Oh, God was paying you attention. He was paying you attention. And he was saying, Miss Mack, it's time for you to rest. You've done so much, and you are still doing a lot. But it's time for you to rest now. So I'm going to bring you home. I'm going to bring you home so that you can rest. Miss Mack, enjoy your rest. And please tell my mother hello. She'll know you. She will know you. Please tell her hello from me. Good night, Miss Mack. And it's just good night. Because I'll be seeing you. All of us will be seeing you in time. So not goodbye, but good night. And we love you. Thank you for what you have done for C.E. Murray, for your children, for your grandchildren, for everyone whose life that you have touched, because I'm sure that you have touched many lives. Miss Mack, we love you. Rest in peace. Good night.